we're gonna get this show on the road, and every pun intended, hopefully it'll fly by for everyone here. We want to welcome you tonight. I'm Tim Davis, Brock Bierman. On behalf of the Ballard Live Stream and Ballard Network and our friends at Flight Bar and Grill, really excited to be here. We talked with Matt and Mary Ann probably a month ago, 6 weeks ago, and said, hey, this is kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep all the streams on all the events free for the viewers. So Dan and Brock kind of came up with some ideas about, hey, how can we generate some revenue and pay some folks to help with the network, but keep the stream free, try to get some kids involved. That's the next step. I think Brock did a demonstration at the high school, not yet. In the future, he's going to do some stuff with some high school kids and some of the business classes. So we're really trying to build on the network. Then this came into play. We suggested it to Matt and Mary Ann, and then we had a meeting 2 weeks later, and Matt said, in the theme of flight, he said, we're going to throw jet fuel on this thing. And so that's how we ended up here. And for the first Monday of every month, this is where we'll gather. Here in the Flight Lounge. We're doing it this Monday because of the holiday next weekend. But we're really excited you guys are here. We'd like to have more people show up. And it is trial and error tonight. So if we have some malfunctions, bear with us. We've got a great guest list. I'll let Brock kind of take it from here.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody coming here. For those that don't know, I was one of the main people that helped start the network. And like most of the decisions I made with this network, I think I'm biting off more than I can chew, but we'll figure that out as the show goes on. But we have a great guest list, so let's just get started with our first guest that we have on the list. He is a former varsity men's basketball head coach, and now the current principal here at Ballard, Chris Deason.
Mr. Deason, give a round of applause.
And just a heads up for everybody, we only have 2 mics, so we gotta figure out how this is gonna work. We're gonna trial here tonight.
Yeah, we may just play, I may play Sideline Reporter, Brock may do the same thing. So we appreciate Mr. Deason. A little background, we met with him a couple, 3 weeks ago, ran this by him. He said, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Let's do some more talking about it, texting back and forth. He was on board, Dr. Trimble was on board, and here we are. We said, well, Chris, we want you on the first time. And he said, well, okay. So here we are. Take it away, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, another thing people may not know is that Chris has been a huge part of getting this Ballard Network thing off the ground. I actually think I came up to him in the middle of sophomore year, and I was like, I think I'm done playing basketball because my knees can't take it anymore, because I have a knees like a 4-year-old. And he's like, well, do you want to live stream? And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but how exactly do you remember this Ballard Network thing starting exactly?
Yeah, first of all, thank you guys so much. Appreciate this and appreciate what you're doing for Ballard and Ballard activities. This is really, really special. Yeah, I had a very similar recollection, except I just remember your ankle being about as big as a grapefruit around that time. And you were like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And we talked about managing, and you were like, and I said, well, I got this idea. What do you think? What do you think about trying to? We don't have a radio station. What do you think about trying to put Ballard activities, out there so people can stream it? And you can broadcast, you can run a camera, you can, I don't know. And you basically were all in, and then just took it and ran with it. And it, then we started getting the hype videos and all it was really, really cool. So that's kind of how I remember it too.
And I think the first thing, I don't remember where exactly we played at, but it was a scrimmage, and it was a Saturday. We played, all I remember is their logos, Cardinals, maybe or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But I think it was like an hour or so drive, and all I had was this little GoPro that somehow was able to connect to the Wi-Fi, and that was the first ever Ballard Network live stream. Was this little GoPro, no scoreboard, no way to zoom in, no way to really even commentate the game. It was literally just, yep, that's what you guys have, and from there we've grown, went to iPads at one point, and then ended up now where we are today, where we actually have graphics and everything.
Central Decatur, by the way.
Central Care, okay, yes,
All the
yes.
way down there,
Yes.
you know, the home of Zach Clark.
Yes.
Those of you who know Zach, great guy.
But you've also, oops, sorry about that. You've also been a part of the network in many different ways. How else have you been involved? I know you've helped me out a couple times with some of their broadcasts as well.
Yeah, just and that's something I love doing, doing the color for some of those home basketball games. There was nothing better than doing those with Merle as well. Like it's just you know, he would do the play-by-play. Merle Overday, for those of you who don't know, I mean everybody probably knows Merle. He's a legend. But yeah, just that was a lot of fun, and then did a handful of games with you and Chase, and no, that's definitely been a highlight for me.
Yeah. And I mean, we've had a lot of highlights with this Ballard Network. I have a lot that come to mind. One specifically would be your last year as head coach. I know this isn't necessarily on our interview questions, but I'm going to throw this out here. And it was I think it was a Monday, and it was a snow day, and it was sub-state final versus Pella, and we weren't allowed to live stream. But I was like, I'm determined to get down to that gym, be able to get some highlights, because I don't know why. We had a feeling about that team against Pella, and one of my favorite moments ever was capturing after we made state that year.
Yeah. First of all, that day was the most nerve-wracking day ever, because as a coach, you're like, we want our normal routine. We want things to go smoothly. We want to be in school from 8 to 3. Then we want to do our shoot around. Then we want to do, you know, bus at this time. Here's what, and all of a sudden, school gets canceled, and we're like, and I was freaking out. So the weather, it was one of those days where the school got canceled, and then like 3 hours later, the sun came out. All the roads melted off. They gave us permission to come in. We came in. We had a shoot around, we had breakfast, we, you know, just tried to get some normalcy to it, and then went down there and just played really, really well. And that whole, you know, it's interesting, Brock, you talk about that, because after that game, for some reason, we took a group photo with all the students who came to the game and all the players and everybody all together with the banner. And I don't know if you've noticed, but every year since then that they've gone to state, they've done the same thing. So it's kind of one of those cool moments where like this little tradition started, just not because it was planned, but just, yeah, so I agree. That was an unbelievable night, and yeah, I'll remember that forever.
And I could be wrong, but did we get lost on the way back? I swear we took a wrong turn.
We absolutely did. It's funny you say that. You know, like, have all these people on a bus, and you just qualified for state, you just beat a team with 1 or 2 losses, ranked second in the state. Like, they didn't think that they were gonna lose, and so we don't care at that point. We're like just enjoying the moment. And I'm on my phone, I probably had 50, 60 text messages, and I'm trying to get them answered, and I'm going through, and I just happened to glance up, and I'm like, where the heck are we? Like, I had no idea where, so I quick pull up my maps, and I'm like, we're headed to Marshalltown. And I'm like, whoa, and I look at the map, and I look up, and the gal that was driving the bus, I said, we need to go left, right here, at this intersection. And she was like, well, what's going on? Like, just go left at this intersection, or we're going to Marshalltown. And we turned left and got back towards I-35. But yeah, we were lost.
Yeah, I remember that, and honestly, it was a blessing for me, because I was like, well, if I can get this little promo video done before we got back to the high school, it'd be perfect. And I was like, if somehow we could just take a little bit longer. And it ended up taking more than I probably needed, but it took a little bit longer. But yeah, one of my favorite moments working and doing stuff with the Ballard Network. But one of the more important things that we have you here is that we are working on trying to get student involvement with this Ballard Network live stream stuff. What exactly, I know a little bit, but can you explain a little bit to the people what we're working on, and what is your vision with this network in the future?
Yeah, so if you use some of the schools who have really, really good networks, you know, and I always think of Carroll. I like Mondurant's. North Polk has really, you know, done a lot with theirs as well. The one thing they do is they have it incorporated into a class. where they can really get student involvement. So with us opening a business program this year, we just thought it was a great opportunity. Our business teacher, George Licata, he teaches a digital media technology class. So, it's a good spot for that, fits right in, and we really feel like that can be something that can really help get this thing off the ground a little bit more, and so we're really excited about that.
Yeah, and I mean, having a business program at Ballard when I was in school was like not even a thought.
It's like going to the moon.
And because it's crazy how big this district has gotten over the years, and I guess one of the quick things that we'll do before we wrap everything up with you is how since you've gotten here, how has Ballard grown in such a way that has made this district even better than before? Because I mean, Ballard was always a passionate fan base, as involvements and activities, arts and everything, and now we have a full-on gym that's way bigger than what you probably started out in as a head coach here at Ballard. How has your time evolved over here at Ballard, and why have you stayed for so long, I guess?
Well, this is the first thing that always comes to mind to me. I'll never forget, it was a Tuesday night. We were hosting PCM, back when PCM used to be in the conference. We didn't have a great team that year. They didn't have a great team that year. It was two average teams meeting on a Tuesday night, and they traveled a long way. And I'll never forget, like we were getting ready to play, and I looked around, and this was when we were in the old, where the middle school is now. That was our gym. And I remember looking around, and there was nowhere to sit. It was standing room only. You had people standing in all four corners of the gym to watch two average teams on Tuesday night. And I remember thinking, wow, this is the place. Like, this is the place to be. And, it's just the people. That's why you stay. That's why the support that we get is second to none. And we're just able to when we moved to the current high school, as you know, everybody was like, oh my gosh, this place is so big. How do you feel that place? And then it wasn't, it was like a year or two, we played DCG at home, and they're ranked number 2. They hadn't lost all year, and we had a pack the gym night deal. It was the KCCI game of the week and all that stuff. And I remember looking around, and that place was packed. And we ended up running them out of the gym by 15. It was a great night.
I mean, the amount of packed gym nights that I've been able to see at Ballard, I think my senior year was Bondurant, and that place was filled. No, that was my junior year. Senior year, I think it was against Carlisle, but something about this place is just very special. And I mean, it's great that you're still here as you're able to help build the Ballard Network as well, and I appreciate everything you've done to help me out for sure with this. We're gonna have a little audience involvement with this last section. We came up with this idea. We wanted to include the audience a little bit. We call it, everybody's heard of 2 truths and a lie. So Chris is gonna give us 2 truths and 1 lie, and we're gonna have the audience guess what the lie is. So take it away.
All right. So, first, I was once grabbed around the neck by Bobby Knight. Okay. 2, I once qualified for the state track meet in the 100 meters. And 3, I once put a 2.5-inch nail from a nail gun into my finger.
So,
They do some elaborate things. If all of these happen, they're super cool. So I hope they're all the truths. Oh man. All right, let's take a vote. Who thinks the first one is the lie? That's the grab around the neck by Bobby Knight. Show of hands. 1, 2, 3. That's a lie. Okay. How about the qualified for the state track meet in the 100 meters? Wow. It's like Rodney Dangerfield around here. No respect. No respect. Well, that's the winner right now. And then, I once put a nail in my finger. It's 1. This is it. No respect.
No.
All right, here we go.
Tell us. Give us the truth.
All right. unfortunately, for me, you guys are, most of you are right. So, one time I was at a coaching clinic in St. Louis. I was in the front row, and Bobby Knight was doing this demonstration, and he was talking about a kid, and he goes, and then I just reach out, and he literally reaches out and grabs me by the neck, and lifts me up out of my seat in the front row, in front of like 300-400 people in this thing, and I'm like, it was absolutely, and then.
Did you get an autograph at least?
No. Actually, I did years later. I got my picture with the guy, but then all this stuff comes out about how you grab and choke the player and this, and I'm like,
Just to crash that stuff.
yeah. So, and then my mom has a place. We've had a place down at Lake of the Ozarks since 1992. Well, we were putting new siding on it one time, and I dropped the siding and my nail gun at the same time. I reached, grabbed my nail gun, and it hit my thigh all in one motion, and boom! And I nailed my Carhartts right to my leg. And so had to hurry up, unload the trailer, drive, and like Ozarks, right? Like winding up and down. You know, it's like an 8-mile drive that takes 35 minutes. And we get into the hospital, and the doctor's like, and then they call in a surgeon, they do all this. They said, well, it shouldn't be a problem unless it's in your femur. They take an x-ray, they're like, it's in your femur.
It's in your femur.
Yeah. So all this stuff goes on, and then pretty soon, like, they have all these consultations. Everybody in the hospital comes into my room. They're like secretaries, like everybody's in there, like they want to see it, right? And then the two doctors like are consulting. All of a sudden, the one literally walks in the room, puts his hand on my leg, takes a pair of pliers like I got in my toolbox in the back of my truck, grabs it and just yanks it out. Like all of no, like he doesn't tell me like, hey, watch out. Like the guy never said a word to me.
That's the Ozarks, man.
That's right.
I think it's all those on Grey's Anatomy ones. I'm wrong.
But I did run track, believe it or not. I never qualified for state. I ran the 800,
Okay.
not the 100.
Not the 100.
So yeah.
That's,
I guess for being the first guest, we appreciate you stopping by. We'll probably have you on again at some point as we keep this thing going. But we appreciate everything you've done for us and the Bellward Network, and we can't wait to see where it goes. Awesome.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
I should ask, was Marty Bird in the hospital as well?
He might have been the one that pulled the nail out.
He might have been the one that pulled it. You Netflix people out there. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, our next guest, she's new to the area. She would technically be Chris's boss, I guess. But anyway, our next guest is Dr. Danny Trimble, new superintendent of our school. Give her a round of applause. I'm going to run this one. We're both new to the district, so we don't have to go to Old Home Week like those guys did. So I met Dr. Trimble earlier today, and she said, you can introduce me as Dr. Trimble, but don't ever call me that again, so I've already misobeyed twice. So Danny is what she likes to go by. New to town.
I am, yeah.
New to town. You were previously at?
Alburnett, which is a small community just north of Cedar Rapids. And I'll tell you also, prior to that, Western Iowa, Old Arthur, and Bellevue Big Grove. You know how to say that name, all of you?
Give it to us one more time.
OABCIG.
OABCIG. Is that DeGene? From
Absolutely.
Cooper DeGene, right?
I can tell you
the
that that
corner?
one lady over there made Zach Cooper once.
So you're basically getting a cut of the NFL check that's coming. You should. That's awesome. Yeah, okay. Very good. So,
daughter's here.
daughter's here, grandson.
That's friend, yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Give us more background. Before you were superintendent, what'd you do?
Yeah, so I spent the first 40 years of my life in Western Iowa. Started my career in education as a high school band director. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, and got interested in going back to school, was a curriculum director, got my master's degree in that area. Then I got my principal's license, have been an elementary principal, middle school principal, and then decided to go for the superintendent's license. And I've
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're undergrad. That's where we at.
Up University. Yeah. Yeah.
Do they have the underground tunnels up there to get to and from?
Yes.
They do.
Yes, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I knew that. That's why I asked. I like to have questions.
Okay, good.
Okay. So as we evolve, you're building a house, you're living in your daughter's house now, and I learned that tonight, so that's
That's
fun.
true, by the way.
So this is a beautiful thing for all you parents out there, is that your kids will hopefully leave the house, but then maybe you can never mind. Sorry, Brock. That was an inadvertent shot. So as Brock's dad looks at his favorite wristwatch and says, when the heck are you moving out of the house? But they love you. Anyway, then you can move into his house down the road. That's what I like. Yeah, there you go.
The
Okay.
secret is to get them to move out before you move in.
There you go.
So-
There you go. I was part of the plan. So, Nanny, you've been here since
July 1st.
July 1st.
Yeah.
Give us your first impressions. And be kind of honest, as long as they're good. Okay? Now give it to us.
Yeah, honestly, it is as promised, as advertised. I am having a fabulous time getting to know people, the school district, the kids are back now, and so this is what we look like when kids are in our buildings, and it's everything I hope for. It's the reason I came.
Awesome. So you've had your forums, you've been doing some of those. I've not attended yet, but I will, but that's why you're here. So we can skip that part. What's your vision for the district? As you know, I guess, or actually, let me ask you this. What drew you to apply here at Ballard? And besides Iowa's best burger at Flight Bar and Grill, I mean, that's probably first and foremost, but besides that, what drew you to apply here and kind of trip your trigger?
Yeah, so some of you have heard my story. I wasn't looking. And I'm a stayer. Like I stayed in Western Iowa for a long time, and I stayed at Albernet for a long time. Colleagues, friends, family would say, you should be looking, you should look at this district or that district, and I would say, I'm right where I need to be, to the point that someone actually gave me that as a plaque, and it hangs in my office that says you're right where you need to be. And so in November, one morning, getting ready for church, this is my story, I just had the most overwhelming feeling that it was time to stretch. And so I said to my husband, well, what do you think of this idea? And some shock, and anyway, we just got curious about the idea. Went looking for what districts in Iowa would be available, and top of the list, Ballard. And so that's where I applied, and set my sights on learning more about the district, and trying to decide if I have had alignment or fit so that I could do good work here with good people, and I guess the rest is history so far.
So far.
That's awesome. Your vision as you come to, is Albernet, where you were previously, a little similar but a little smaller?
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah,
they,
there's some similarities, parallels for sure, but much smaller. Vision, I guess you can't talk about vision without knowing a little bit about why I do what I do. And so a couple key things there. I feel very strongly, very passionate about preparing all of our children to be college, career, and life ready. And those are not in a pecking order or one more important than the other. It just depends. So college, career, and life ready is a commitment that we make to our community. Second on my list would be the relationship that a school has with the community. We don't do this alone in our school buildings. We are a reflection of our community. And then philosophically, as it applies to vision for the district, you have to make your future, right? The future here is really, really bright and positive and growing. But if we don't attend to it every day, it's not going to happen. And so I'm a bit of a doer and a goer, and that's what I'm here to do, is to help see us through that vision of moving into the future with intention. Yes, exited the building.
and Grant was right on that, by the way. She looked over there like, where's he going? And you're also a great grandma.
I am now a grandma 6 months ago.
6 months ago.
Yeah. That'll happen faster than you realize.
So those great answers, and we're glad you're here. I would say, I'll be completely honest with you, you've been here a couple months, so we're too early to really tell you how you're doing. We'll let you know next year, the first show, so we got a year under our belt, and then we'll hit you with some hard questions.
We'll trade.
Okay, that will get, no, I don't want to trade. No, I was already in education and I got out. Now, you answered all the really good questions, now let's get to the nuts and bolts, the really important ones. What experience do you have with live streams? These are the hard hitting ones.
Yeah, I will not be doing color commentary. No.
Oh, there goes that. Okay.
No.
Mark it off the list, Brock. You're no longer on the list, okay?
No, you do not want me offering any, you just don't want me to do that.
You don't have to operate. You can just talk, that's all I do. I got a face for radio, but they put me on TV now, so. Here we are.
Well, I do have to tell you that I thank you for doing this. Thank you for shining a light on our programs this way. I will go back to my comment about we're a relationship with our community, and this is one of the ways we can do that, and so I think that's fantastic. I think that COVID really brought on the need for these kind of connections, and that you are taking it and running with it is great.
Yeah, and that's goes back to tribute to Rock and Chris and how it's evolved. And these guys, and Dan Ingsler over here, we call him the executive producer. Dan Ingsler, he's behind the scenes and he's kind of in our ear. We call him, if you guys remember WGN, he's like the Arnie Harris of the Valley Network. That's what we think of. So if you remember Harry to Carey, holy cow, that's him. But yeah, the network, even in, like I said, when you were here, how this has come about, and having the support of you and Chris and the district, and trying to intertwine it with students and their involvement, because we can't pay Brock enough to keep him around forever, and Lord knows his parents want him out of the darn house. So it's twofold here, but hopefully he's going to move on and get a big time job, and then we'll just be able to ride his coat, and he'll be a special guest when he comes back. But we're trying to evolve the network and grow it, and having you here and your support, Chris's support, is a big deal. Now's the time, though, for this last question I asked. And we did the two truths and a lie.
Yeah.
You being in education, that's like the icebreaker of all icebreakers.
Yep.
Yes.
So you mentioned you were a band director. Favorite song that you were able to, that you constantly would do for a performance?
That's a great.
Okay, so
Who's paid the big
I
bucks?
think you're talking Pet Band.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so the kids loved Land of a Thousand Dances. I don't know if that rings any bells for all of you.
What instrument did you play when you were in band?
Trumpet and French horn.
Ah, yeah, I played the trumpet. I was in the marching band, okay? 7th grade or 8th grade year, went to a really small school in Weston, South Dakota. We had dirt roads, gravel roads everywhere. I don't know if my parents know this, so they'll see this on Wednesday. I got asked to not be in the marching band because someone that was in the trumpet line was throwing the rocks into the tuba.
Oh, I would have also actually.
Yeah, it was frowned upon. I was like, I don't know. I really didn't want to be there, but respect band teachers, and we're going to have ours on. And we love watching the shows at halftime and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to an Ohio State game where they dot the I? Have you ever done that?
No, but you can bet I've watched.
Yeah, absolutely. Your daughter's going to be out there in Ohio, Dayton area. Probably not. I don't know where that's at. Columbus. Geography's not very good right now. Okay, so the two truths and a lie, and you're getting tough to beat Chris, by the way. That was phenomenal stuff. And I love it, but I knew he wasn't very fast. But anyway, all right, go for it.
Okay, so you all don't know me. This is going to be tough. We're going to do a Trimble bucket list. Okay, so not history, but what would be on my bucket list? Visit every major league ballpark, baseball, yep. Backpack across Europe, or follow autumn across Northern America. Bucket list.
Okay, so two of these are on your list.
Two of these are accurate.
And one of them, so you're doing it currently, or you're...
Well, bucket list
would be
means that
what?
someday.
Someday. Thank you. See, she's teaching all the time, folks. this and can learn. If I can learn, the Ballard District is in good hands. I can tell you that. Okay, so I'm going to read these off. Visit every Major League Baseball stadium. Her husband does have a state baseball shirt on, so I don't know if that's backpack across Europe, which I have to give a shout out. RIP to Bob Barker, because I think of that little yodeler guy. Knock it out on the Price is Right. Yeah, he goes up the thing. Bob Barker passed away. And give Bob Barker a ton of credit because that guy lived all the way to 99 but didn't go over $1. I saw that on the internet. It's not mine. That is a man of his craft. That is a man. Jesus, that's terrible. Just backpack across Europe or follow autumn across North America. Okay, so who thinks it's the first one? Visit every major league. That's not what she wants to do. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, backpack across Europe. Okay, that's the leader in the clubhouse. I think we're even, or follow autumn across North America. Oh my gosh, it's, all right, tell us.
Okay, so I would love to visit every ballpark.
Okay.
He's not the only baseball fan.
Awesome.
Chicago Cubs, Green Bay Packers.
Oh no. That's fine. Keep going.
Okay. Following autumn across North America would definitely be on my bucket list. Just go over the coast in months, so that's something in retirement. I love the thought of traveling Europe. You don't know this about me, but I would never back.
Much respect to that.
They call me princess.
Okay. That does not give anyone permission to email the superintendent of Ballard Schools and say, hello, princess? That is a no.
We're going to go there. I've been trying to get him to call me queen.
Okay, all right. Well, do you have anything more for us?
It was a pleasure to be here. Good luck with this, and it'll be fun to watch.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Give her a big hand, guys. Thank you so much. Dan, how we looking on time?
I think we're good. I mean,
Do you want to bring that up?
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Matt Patient, come on up. Is Mary Ann here, or is she taking this? Matt Patient, one of the owners of the co-worker for Flight Water Girl.
I'll take this. All right.
You're probably tired of hearing 10 times.
We might not have another show. You keep mentioning Bob Barker dying.
It's factual information.
Well, Matt, for those that don't know, he's part owner, well, family's owns Flight.
Yes, my wife is home with the boys now, but they were both here earlier. Yes, definitely need to give her credit. She's definitely involved in this equally, if not more than I am.
She's the one that's involved with the social media.
Yeah, she's what makes us look good,
Yes.
but in more ways than one. But definitely on the social media side, she spearheads that and puts in a lot of work, and she's definitely taken this on. When we said we're going to put Jeff Hill on it, I mainly just meant we're going to put Mary Ann on it and see what happens. So this is a credit to her.
So again, we're here because of our sponsorship. We are the Ballard Network, presented by Flight Bar and Grill this year, and they have been fortunate enough to give us help in funding this, which helps keep all of our streams free for everybody, so no pay-per-view for any events, which I've seen some schools do, and that's the last thing I want to see any high school having to do is make people pay to watch a high school event, especially when half the time it's family and friends that you're there to see. So when we came up to you and brought up this idea of the sponsorship deal, before we even get to this show that we're doing right now, what went through your mind? Because I know you're involved with the Foundation Burger, which again, congratulations on the best burger in Iowa. You weren't done. You wanted to get involved more with Ballard. So when we came up to you with this idea, what went through your mind?
Well, at first, us winning the best burger allows us to do things like that. Like this and other things. We're going to start a 401k program for employees, which is coming up. Actually, believe it or not. So the money is being reinvested here in our community. We're going to do a lot of good things with it. So it's not just a good job. Yeah. We still live in the same house and we plan on still living in the same house, so we're not talking that much money, but, yeah, it allows us to do a lot of good things in our community, and this being one of them. Marianne and I really built Flight with the understanding that we would help those that do the right thing anytime we can. And there's nobody at this table, even Dan, that's in this for the money, that's here to get rich, or, you know, it's just doing the right thing. And that's bringing athletics to those that can't be there in person. We've all got grandparents or parents that want to watch the kids play, and they can't be there in person. And this allows us to reach those people. So really it was a no-brainer. It was just a matter of getting these guys almost on board with us and saying, are you sure you want to do this? Because before anything, like, let's go. So I'm just, really grateful for both of these guys to do it, because, like I say, they're not in it for the money, they're doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and I mean, when we brought up this show idea, I was like, yeah, if it happens, it happens. And then when we mentioned it to you guys, I saw the look in your guys' eyes, I was like, oh no, I'm not sure what I'm opening right now. And well, here we are. I don't know if Tim has anything that he wants to mention, but we just want to say we very appreciate everything that you've done to help us out. And again, because of the sponsorship with Flight, we will be able to keep live streams for this year free.
Yeah, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Just keep it going. See what happens next time. All right. And you guys can feel free, if you need to get up, drinks, food, whatever, go ahead, help yourself. You're not getting interrupted. We're doing up here. But our next guest is Mr. Sam Anker. Okay. All right. So when we started this whole process, like I said, probably 6-8 weeks ago, and Matt said, "Well, I know who I want to have on first time." And he said, "Hey, it's Sam Anker," and then he kind of told us a little bit about you, Sam, and we're going to get into your story here and things like that. I will preface it with this: he is from Winterset, so I know that's Danny, he's from Winterset, and we live in Huxley, so there's some adversity, but we're going to work through it. We're really glad you're here. No, seriously, really glad you're here, Sam. Let's just dive in. Tell us about yourself, kind of upbringing, where you went to college, and why you're sitting here a little bit, and then we'll get into the foundation and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. So, first of all, you said something in a previous interview that you said that you have the face for radio. My dad told me that growing up, and I never really understood what it meant.
Now you know.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah. So that's a really lighthearted jab. Yeah. You're talking to the man of sarcasm.
Yeah.
Continue on.
I got it today. But yeah, I grew up in Winterset. I graduated there in 2006, and then went to Woodward College for 2 years. Transferred to Iowa State. I was like a cyclone at heart. So transferred there, went to school for 1 year, just as a student, and then there was a walkout tryout one spring, and I was like, well, I mean, I've long snapped before, so I long snapped at Wartburg, and I don't know, I started looking at their depth chart, what do you got for long snappers? There were 2, I thought, well, there could be 3, I don't care if I'm number 3, but as long as I'm there, so I went to the tryout, and went through just the warm-up, and I was like,
We're not Winterset, so that's kind of what that was. We're not. Wow. Okay.
wow, yeah. So, but I tried out with 35 guys that day, I remember.
For long snapper?
No, just
Holy smokes! We should have started trying out kickers game.
have you ever tried?
I used to long snap in high school.
Did you really?
Yeah. If it was football, we might have a competition later.
We'll do it.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Continue on.
No, 35 guys I tried out with that day, all positions. So out of 35, 6 made the team, which, I left that day thinking I did all I could, worst they can do is say no.
Yep. Sure.
And I got the email, I still have the email, got it framed, so it was a big deal to me, know, I spent,
Who was the head coach then?
Coach Rhodes.
Coach Rhodes was it? Okay.
Coach Rhodes,
Yep.
yep. So I spent my last 2 years of eligibility on the football team. Never got in a game, got in a spring game if that counts, so.
Counts in my books.
But you know, it's all the people I've met throughout the years, all the contacts I still have, seeing guys that are in the NFL, you know, that I've had personal relationships with, and you know, watching them succeed is just really, it's like a dream come true that it happens.
That's awesome. One of my favorite movies is Rudy. Not quite the same, but I'm a Notre Dame fan.
You are.
Yeah.
I was in South Bend this summer.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay. Did anybody ask about me?
I saw this statue
Yeah.
in the distance.
It wasn't me. But I guess.
I couldn't make it out. It kind of looked like you.
Okay. Yeah.
But it very well could have been. Yeah.
It fits. So I haven't been there for a while, but I want to go back. But anyway, where I was going. So talk to me a little bit about being walk-on practice as a long snapper. Was that all you did on practice, or did they throw you in? They're like, hey, stand here, get the crap out.
Yeah, that's kind of a funny story. Yeah, so you go through the dynamic warm-up with everybody, right? And at the end of that, it's like, all I do is long step. I'm like, so then it's like, okay, all the specialists, you have a position group that you're going to help out. So I had the defensive line on defense and the tight ends.
Okay.
The tight ends that was fine, but then defensive line where they're running drills, you know, shedding blocks and stuff, and then guess who I am? I'm the ball carrier.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I was like, hey man, like I can make friends with them. Like, hey, listen, you take care of me, I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
You know, and it got to the point where, but yeah, that's what we did. So we'd snap like crazy, you know, and then they'd kick like crazy, and then we just really were water boys until we
Sure.
done. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That's just the way it happens.
I can respect that. That's awesome. You brought your wife tonight.
Yeah, my wife next to you over there.
Okay. And you give her a round of applause. Thanks. So you're from Winterset originally, correct?
Yeah, apparently it's a bad thing.
No, it's not, but we just gotta compete against you.
I get it. I get it.
it. We're definitely gonna cheer against you. Winterset, we're here for you now, but I understand. And all you Winterset people, if there's some here, some that watch, we respect you, but we're still gonna cheer for our Bombers, right? I mean, you guys do the same for us.
Yep.
Huskies down there, right?
Yes,
Yes, okay. So you live back down there now,
I do.
started your own business,
Mm-hmm.
go First Down Brewery.
First number again.
Are you coaching football?
I do coach football.
Do you coach football?
Yes.
So is your head coach still there when you were playing? Same guy?
Yes, and I can say that's probably the main reason I do coach football.
Okay.
Yep.
Tell us what that's like from going to player to now peer. Give us a little insight on it.
It's funny because, you know, there were times in high school when all of a sudden Coach Sweeney would just like blow up in practice, and it's like, I didn't think it was going that bad, you know? I was like, I don't know. Well, then I get on his coaching staff, and you know, we have the practice plan, and literally at like a certain point it says Sweeney blow up. I'm like, what? I mean, I'm green to coaching, you know, and I'm like, what is Sweeney blow up? Well, at about 4:35, I saw what Sweeney blow up was.
It was right out there.
I was like, this was scripted?
What is this, WWE? Yeah. It's like Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. But no, it's been awesome, you know, being on his coaching staff and just his philosophy and beliefs. You know, it's exactly what I want to model too. So to have that opportunity is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Obviously, there was a reason to get back and start coaching
Yeah.
and doing all that. So awesome. Now let's talk a little bit about the Trice Legacy Foundation.
Yeah.
Give us some insight on that and tell us kind of how it's evolved and whatever you know about it. Educate us on it if you're.
Yeah, so honestly, the Trice Legacy Foundation is fairly new to myself also. I've being in the business that I opened, I wanted to do something to celebrate the 100th year of Jack Trice's death, which this year marks. And I don't know how I did it, but I got a hold of George Trice, who is, so George's grandpa was Jack's first cousin, so distant relative of Jack, but he started the Trice Legacy Foundation, and I honestly didn't know about the foundation until I met George. And I did more research and what they're trying to do. So the whole base of the organization is to try to continue what Jack never got the opportunity to do. Which a lot of people know that Jack was an excellent football player, but they don't know that he was very education driven and a great student as well.
Kind of a pioneer.
Yes,
essentially. Okay.
yes. And you know what Jack went through, not only in football, but just to get to where he ended up is amazing. So, but I got a hold of George Trice and said, hey, I've got this idea. I'd love to highlight Jack. He said, that's awesome. I've got this foundation. I said, well, perfect. So we can give money back to your foundation. So really what the foundation does is they provide scholarships and resources to African American students who want to pursue a college education. They give 3 scholarships a year, it's $10,000 over 4 years. They not only give you the $2,500 a year, George sits down and he has the parents sign a contract with the kids that in order to receive this money, they will stay in school full time for 4 years and also complete a mentorship program.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just give the money and good luck. It's after 4 years, George knows exactly where these kids are at, what they're doing, and who's mentoring them. So for an example, one kid who got the scholarship this year, Reggie Hayward, is his mentor. He played football at Iowa State.
Okay.
So George has contacts all over the nation. But really that's, we wanted to do something for Jack for a purpose, but that just kind of far exceeded my expectation. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah. That's incredible. Like the follow-up, just being that personal as far as with George and the accountability with which comes with it. That's an easy thing to get behind, right? For you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into some of this stuff after we get off the show, and you guys can talk with Sam, learn more about his experiences. You're gonna stick around for a little while after the show, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna enjoy some, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. You're gonna enjoy some conversations and things like with all of the very friendly Huxley Ballard community school people. Yeah, that's what we're here.
Yeah.
He loves us. So now, again, like we did with Danny and we did with Chris, the hard-hitting questions. 2 truths and a lie.
Well, I screwed one up.
Oh, no. Missy, can you come over here and do this for me? He told it. Let's see.
She told me, I'm not gonna say she did.
Well, give it your best shot. You can make something up.
I can make something up.
Sure. Give it to us. Okay, 2 truths, 1 lie.
2 truths, 1 lie.
Yeah.
Okay. The first one is I have officiated high school basketball for 10 years.
He has officiated high school basketball. That's why you couldn't really see that statue. Your vision is not very good.
So gotta be false.
Okay. Anyway, continue. That was a referee joke. Sorry for my referees. Anyway, continue.
Before I started my business in Interset, I worked in retail.
Worked in retail.
In retail.
So, big box. I'm gonna put this on the big box store.
Big box.
I'm gonna guess Target.
Can't go to the red shirt.
I'm just saying.
Ballard Killers.
Hey, easy. Everybody can go as Jake from State Farm if they want. Okay, next one.
This is the one I messed up, but
Don't tell us that. You're a terrible poker player, I can tell you that.
no, this was a good one.
Okay, this is a good one.
When I was a little kid, I once
Did you throw a rock down a tuba?
I once found a rabbit hole with bunnies in it, and I picked one up. It fell on the ground. I went to run after it. I stomped on it, and then my mom proceeded to tell me that it was sleeping. That's pretty vivid.
That is, and this is honestly a rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
You're gonna have to go down.
Lance is not here, there's no small children, because now we're all traumatized. Isn't that fatal attraction? Where she goes the rabbit in the stew or something? Anyway, all right. So,
You don't remember him. You're gonna need to use my phone.
okay, I remember that. So, first one, he's officiated basketball for 10 years. Raise your hand if you think that is the lie. Okay, all right. Next one, he used to work in retail, we think at Target, before he moved down. Okay. All right, that looks like the leader in the clubhouse. And the third one, Lance, maybe Lance, close your ears. He committed homicide on a defenseless bunny rabbit that was related somewhere down the line to Bugs Bunny. And anyway, his mom lied to him, said he was sleeping, and now you probably have 4 pet rabbits that you show at the fair, or something like that. Anyway, tell us which one. Who thinks that one's? Please be the lie. Please, for the love of God, please be the one. Which one's the lie?
I'll start with that one, and unfortunately, that is not a lie. Yep. And so I'm 35, and I still remember it. Yeah, that stuck with me.
Yeah.
So I do.
It's a mistake with all of us.
I know.
Okay.
That'll leave a lasting impression, right? I do officiate high school basketball. I have for 10 years.
In-state tournaments?
I've made the state tournament twice.
Okay.
No state championships, but
Cool.
yeah.
What, so are you 3A, 4A, girls, boys, both, or just boys?
Both girls, boys.
Okay.
3A, 4A, we've gone down to 1A.
Done any college stuff yet?
No college stuff.
No college, okay.
You know, maybe when I was younger, that's kind of young.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But with the family and everything, that's that ship sailed. I'm okay with that.
So the lie is that you didn't work retail?
I did work in retail.
I had you as a target.
I was not.
Just your demeanor and how you kind of go about things and you.
I can help you in the self-checkout.
Yeah, come on over here. This is this. Yeah. You want to face that shelf right there? I know all the lingo. I used to work at Walmart back in the day.
Did you really?
Keep your comments to yourself. Anyway. I took a pay cut and came to work for the Ballard Network. But anyway.
No, before I opened my business, I was a commercial banker for 7.5 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
But you just decided that you wanted to do this deal you're doing?
I wanted to do this.
Were you living in Winterset?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd lie if I didn't tell you that being a commercial banker really helped me in starting my business in writing business plans and projections, and so I'm not mad about it, but yeah, that's what I did before I was in the business that I'm in.
All right, just because I'm a huge Iowa State fan myself, I need a Coach Rose story.
You need a Coach Rose story. Great question. I don't know if many people know this about Coach Rhodes. Maybe you do, but he loves Harley Davidson motorcycles. And one day we were in the weight room, and Coach Rhodes comes in in the most ratty shorts and the most ratty cutoff shirt ever. And he's got his cup of coffee in his hand, and he's like, "What's up, fellas?" And he's got this big Harley Davidson tattoo on his shoulder. And I'm like, whoa, this is sweet. Like, this guy's a real dude, you know? But I don't know, that's probably my favorite story. He could get pretty wound up too. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of my favorite coaches of all time, just in general, not just Iowa State specific.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this too, you know, being able to get to know him, he as real as he seemed on TV or in the media was as real as he was in real life. I mean, it was transparent. I was a walk-on. He treated me like I was a scholarship player. There was no separation. Knew my name, wanted to know about, you know, my aspirations, and great guy. I still follow Coach Rhodes. It's been kind of hard, you know, because he's gone here, there, and everywhere. But I think he's at Boston College now, if I remember right, as a defensive analyst. So, yeah, just another spot to travel for me. So.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to say? I know you'll be around for people that want to ask more questions about the Trice Legacy Foundation and everything going on. But anything else?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me on, and appreciate the opportunity to be able to, you know, push the Trice Legacy Foundation, the wonderful things that they're doing, and just accepting a Winterset person with a
We want to support the legend, right? The legend, Jack.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, Jack went through a lot ultimately, you know, making the ultimate sacrifice to make the world a better place. So that's
I got one follow-up now, since you mentioned Jack Trice. I think it's so cool that Iowa State has a stadium named after him, and you were there as a player. Now you probably go back as a fan. What was there? I always love asking former college athletes this. Was there the transition of I'm not playing, like not on the field, and I'm just a fan? The first time you went after
the first time after I was done.
Yep, after you hung up your cleats.
Yeah. I hung up my cleats early because I didn't play.
You're still there.
But yeah, there's a transition. You know, it's not a lie when they say when you play sports, like that's your identity. You know, what are you going to do after you play sports? And I think that for some people that's a real issue. It wasn't really for me. I knew that I wasn't a professional athlete and that I was going to go pro in something other than sports. Yeah. Yep. There you go. It's double A. But going back to Jack Trice, it's just, well, you know, being an Iowa State fan, it's just got this feeling and this magic about it. They talk about Hilton magic. I don't know what you call Jack Trice Stadium, but it's electric, you know. And to think that that's the only stadium in Division I that's named after an African American is pretty amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's super exciting that we get to honor him for another year, 100 years. And I mean, they're coming out with those throwback unis that they're going to be wearing, which if you guys haven't seen them, I personally think they're awesome. Definitely not saying that.
If I would have played, I might have been able to get a jersey, but I didn't. So. Maybe George can give me one.
Yeah, George could probably get you one. And for those that don't know, George actually bought a ticket to come here. He lives in Arizona, but he did support the Ballard Network by paying for a ticket. So thank you, George, for supporting us.
Absolutely. Yep.
But
and to support George, you know, johnjacktrice.org is his website, and you can go on there, see how to get involved. He's always looking for volunteers, and even though he lives in Arizona, he does a great job of being connected to Iowa and really spending dollars back in Iowa, even though he's in Arizona. So, but,
well, Sam, thanks for taking the time to speak with us. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, ready to get into a little bit of Ballard athletics before we wrap everything
Well, we
up?
are, but before we get there, Brock, I have to give a shout out to two couples that are both celebrating their anniversary tonight. So happy 19th anniversary to our special celebrity bartenders, Matt and Ray. And happy 47th wedding anniversary to Jeff and Sherry Mitchell. Grandparents, their anniversary was also on this date, and I believe Matt said it was their 50th when you guys got married 19 years ago. So anyway, their son Mason and their daughter Marley, we know what they'll be doing on August 28th at some point down the road. So no pressure, but it better be nice. And whatever. We can wait for that. But anyway, happy anniversary, guys. I'm really glad you're here. So, yeah, Rob, let's just need football stuff for some.
Jump into the football right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Bombers come off with a W heading into this week against Pella, 120-17. It was like, I don't know how many of y'all were able to make it out there or watch the stream, but it was a very competitive game back and forth throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched the
The replay on the Pella channel, Dutch Vision or Pella Vision, whatever it is. They do a good job. Those guys over there, so hopefully they tune in and watch us and do our thing. But they do a nice job. But in the game, watching the game, it was kind of like a tale of two halves. Watching the game, and I watched the first half, and I kind of threw up on myself a little bit. I was like, we're just not very good right now. And then all of a sudden, like the third quarter, and it was like, okay. And then the fourth quarter was like, holy smokes, we don't have any football, and we can block and tackle, and we turned them over and did a lot of really, really nice things. And for a football team that lost our starting quarterback and has some new guys coming in to go on the road and win the first game in Pella, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal to start the season. So kudos to all the kids, all the coaches, the parents that were there, people tuned in. But that's a really good win. And anytime, well, Chris knows this, anybody that's coached, winning is a heck of a lot better than losing, regardless of how it looks, right? So just like in golf, there's no pictures on the scorecard, and there's pictures, but a win's a win, and a win's a win, right?
Yeah, I mean, being in a team like Pella, it doesn't matter what year it is, that's a big program in the state of Iowa for athletics in general, so being able to come off a win, start the season 1-0, being able to beat that team is great. I don't know how many of you watched the stream. I was able to rewatch it on Saturday after, because I had to work a baseball game on Friday, but the color commentator at one point in the third quarter was talking about our quarterback, Mason Gatchel, and he was like, I don't know what happened to him, but the first half he wasn't able to make a throw, but now he's looking like Joe Montana, being able to slid it on the field. And I was like, well, I guess we got Joe Montana.
If we start throwing out those on Friday, I mean, it is going to be hot, so I mean,
Yeah, we're going to be delusional.
we might. Not for Mason, I'm talking about Humboldt's quarterback. Who's Humboldt's quarterback? You got that down, though.
Give me a sec. Cohen Madsen is their quarterback. They only had 45 yards of passing, so
Did they win last week?
they did win against Spencer. And when looking at these two teams, Ballard plays Humboldt, for those that don't know, coming up this Friday. And they did play last year. It was homecoming. I remember it being a rainy night. Bombers were unfortunate. They weren't able to get the win. 26-14 was the final score. However, that was a close game for a team that ended up making the Unidome in state football. So Bombers are going to be able to come back, hopefully. And
This Friday.
This Friday.
It's a matchup of undefeated teams. Week 2, 1-0, undefeated. Ballard, Humboldt, Ballard Stadium, right? Well, I hope it's there because that's where we're going.
legendary Chris Garfield.
Because if it's not over, we're not sitting on top of that thing doing the deal.
No, I wouldn't sit up there for fun either.
So we're on the same page.
Let alone with you.
Thank you. He's honest.
But yeah, hopefully by the time that our next show comes around, we got a couple more wins in the win column for the Ballard football team. They got a really good schedule. I know it always sucks playing against a bunch of good teams, but at the same time, it's fun being able to see if we're up for the task to be able to play some big programs like Pella. I know DCG's on our schedule later in the year, so we're playing against some programs that are actually well developed and have winning culture. And I mean, we've been able to make the playoffs 2 of the last 3 seasons. So it's going to be exciting to see when we're live again here in Flight Lounge what our record looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. That's October 2nd.
I'm not good with numbers, that's why I wanted to hear what was on.
We don't want to get the cart in front of the horse. Hopefully we get to do another show. I don't know. We'll see. Danny's still laughing, so that's a good thing. I don't know if it's an uncomfortable laugh or it's... Take the microphone away from it. Nervous laughter. First cross-country meet was today.
Yes.
On the road to Webster City. Did you have any
I
results?
haven't been able to find any results
Does
yet.
anybody know if there was anything? But our plan is, as we evolve in this, is all activities will be included in this program. All your fall sports, so when we're in that season, and the seasons of the sports or the activities, whether it's band, cross country, cheerleading, dance, football, all of those things, we're going to try to give everybody equal time, and we're going to try to support all of the activities within Valor Schools, and hopefully some of those coaches that want to come on, talk to us about their programs, about their teams. It's always hard as a coach, as Chris knows, because it's really easy to talk about things when you're winning, and then you don't really want to talk about it when you're losing, and then you really don't want to even talk about it because, like he said, you're kind of superstitious, but you're not superstitious, but it's bad luck to do things that aren't the right way, right? So that's just part of it. But then we've got a big volleyball announcement this year.
Yes, I mean,
Huge.
so
Huge.
it's like, you know, break the internet kind of news.
Yeah, we're talking like personality.
Yeah.
We're not sure on the knowledge, but that's secondary right now. We had a huge pool of people,
Yes, for people that don't know,
very long list.
we will be calling the football games, the varsity football games this year,
Yeah,
but due to scheduling conflicts, I cannot make any of the volleyball games because I either have class on Thursday night or I have...
everybody goes to class in college, but anyway, go ahead. Priorities, but anyway, continue.
You're lucky you're nice. No, but, so I will unfortunately be unable to call some, if not all, I think it's all of the volleyball games this fall. But we did a large talent search.
Well, who's calling me? Besides the new person, me.
Yeah, you're
I don't know, I'll be completely transparent, I don't know that much about volleyball. The only volleyball stuff that I really know is Zach Barnes and Monroe Clark from the movie Side Out in 1992. C. Thomas Howell is in that movie. Chris Deason knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, see, so yeah, Side Out, Monroe Clark. That's my volleyball knowledge. So we're gonna give it a go, though. We're gonna for sure. So do we want to get on?
It's your broadcast.
Thank you, Ryan. So I would like to introduce our color commentary analyst. Not really play-by-play, just going to be with us, giving us all the energy. Big round of applause. This is Megan Mudd. Come on. So good. All right.
I feel so honored.
You should. I feel honored.
You should.
We asked a few people, and Megan said, well, she was one of the two we asked. So we said cool, we didn't say how deep it was. But she said, all right. And you were really on board, but not everybody in the Mudd household.
No.
Okay.
I have a freshman daughter, and she's actually terrified about this experience. But I promised her I'm not going to be live streaming her games, and I will be on my best behavior with anything I say. And my parents also gave me some tips. I'll save those for a little bit too. But
Tell us what you volleyball at. Give us a little bit. So we're not going to this blind.
No. I mean, back in 1992 at Riverbend Middle School in Iowa Falls, I had a huge career.
Sitting inside out with Monroe Clark and Zach Barnes. This is not a coincidence. So we are on the same page, same year.
7th and 8th grade were huge. But then I got to high school and kind of figured out I was a better runner. So I became a cross-country runner. And then my volleyball knowledge took a little break. But then when I got UNI at some point, I started coaching for Cedar Falls High School volleyball. They were also desperate.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
You were also desperate.
So I did that, and then now my daughter loves volleyball. So for the last few years, I have watched a lot of volleyball. So I'm a little worried because one person's supposed to be the play-by-play, the other person's supposed to be the color, right? But I'm afraid we're both colors, so it's at least gonna be a good show. And what my parents told me was, don't talk too much. You always talk too much, and just tell everybody the score. Tell the score a lot, and then make sure that we know who's serving, because grandparents know, they're like, is that Nora? No, that's not Nora. Yeah, that's Nora. No, that wasn't Nora. Nora didn't play that game.
The whole not talking so much thing that.
Yeah. So, if nothing else, I promise that we will make sure that everybody watching from home knows the score.
I love that.
And who killed it, who served it, all the things.
We're talking about volleyball, not rabbits, are we? Sorry, Sam. Sorry about that. Circle back.
Okay.
So we know the basics of volleyball. We couldn't figure it out, and I've got a beautiful gal over there that's going to tell me about it and teach me a lot of things. So I'm looking forward to that. She may sit in with us with the headset. I'll be like our deep blend, our rules analyst. We decided that last night, right?
Yeah.
That was exactly the decision that we did. Kara's going to come on and be the rules analyst.
Right.
And keep us in check.
Right.
Perfect. You've got some things that you want to tell us about.
Well, I'm a little sad I thought you'd ask me about my softball career. But
Well,
are we saving that for the show? Like a real?
okay.
So we were talking,
There's not, the beauty of volleyball is there's not a lot of downtime besides in between sets, right? It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back. You guys get it. Anyway. So we don't have to fill a lot of time with stories, but Megan had a softball
career.
in college, right?
Yeah.
You played up at Iowa Falls.
Yeah.
At
High school.
High school. Did you play in college?
Well, I played, and Tim loves this story. I'm just hoping for him to ask me about
Okay,
it.
so you played college softball.
Well, I played college basketball at Hillsborough. That was intentional, wanted. And then I got to Ellsworth basketball, and the basketball coach was also the softball coach. And so after basketball season, after that first basketball season, the softball coach was like, we got a problem. We are one girl short for our softball team. And I was like, no, I suck. I haven't played since 8th grade. And I am not going to play softball. I haven't played for 4 years. She's like, you have to. I promise you'll never play. Well, all my friends were going out, so I said, okay, fine. So I called my mom and I said, hey, I'm playing softball. The first game's tonight. And she's, what? And I said, go to the basement and see if you can find my glove.
She didn't have a glove. She's on the team now.
Yeah. And it was dusty, and it still said Megan right here on the Rawlings thing,
So everybody knew it was your.
Yeah, it was fine. And so my mom brought it to the field, and I got a big fountain pop and Snickers, and I'm in the dugout because everybody else is out playing, and she couldn't have an empty dugout. And so I'm in the dugout with my Snickers and my pop, and the very first inning, a girl slides into home and gets her forehead split open, and there's blood and all this stuff. And it was like slow-mo. Everybody turns and is like looking at me, and I'm
So you're
with my drink and my Snickers, and it's like, oh my God, she has to go in.
You're sitting over there housing a fountain drink in a candy bar.
Oh yeah, my parents were there. They were proud.
So this is like Bill Belichick type stuff. Next woman up.
Yes.
That's you.
I got the call, and so I went
Got the call.
right out to left field. I went right out to left field to put down my snacks. Yeah, for some reason I had to go where, I don't know. But anyways, I went out there, and I swear the next girl up to bat, it was Central. She got up, and I swear she pointed the bat at me.
Called her shot.
Yeah, I hadn't been out there since 8th grade, and she just roped the line drive right at my face. And I think I screamed, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to take a step back and take it off the bounce, or just go up and dive and catch it. So I just froze, and it bounced and hit me in the shin, and I fell down, and there might have had to be a uniform change after that. There's a lot of laughing and crying.
I gotta have a drink. So this is like a cross between kind of the Sandlot, and not as far as Smalls holding his glove and he can't catch it, and you got hit in the shin, and you may or may not have beat your pants.
I mean, it just happens, but.
It was painful, traumatic.
But then a girl quit, and I played the rest of the season.
And then,
Yeah.
and the story goes.
Yeah.
Did you get a hit?
Yes.
Did you catch some fly balls?
I don't know about that.
But you gotta get, you're on the team. So I was going to mention, like, I don't know which story is more dramatic, and I apologize again, Sam. But Sam killing the rabbits or you trying to catch a fly ball?
Right.
They're both very
Fair. Fair.
The comeback story is that you made it on the team and you played, that's awesome. So if for nothing else, you're resilient.
Yes.
So
Yes.
as we call the volleyball games, we may not do so great sometimes, but we will try our best.
Yes.
We will be resilient to do that.
I'm excited. The only thing I'm nervous about is I have a really loud voice, and I just want to put it out there for everybody that's going to tune in from home to have that remote control in your hand because it might be loud. So get that volume turned down right away because it might be loud. So that's my only concern. I think that's it. That's my only concern. I think we're good.
So a couple things on the volleyball program, volleyball team. They are, I got some notes written down here. 8-1 on the season. They've only lost 3 sets all year, which is impressive. We did lose to DCG, went down, won the tournament, I believe, in Osceola last weekend. Is that correct, Sue? Okay. We've got ADM tomorrow night. That's on the road. They're number 12 in the state. And then we've got Bondurant next Tuesday, the 5th, after Labor Day. We're on the road there. They're ranked 10. And then on the 7th, we have our first home game. It's Pack the Gym Night versus Gilbert. So bring your families, bring your kids. Chick-fil-A, I think, for the students will be there for that night. So shout out Chick-fil-A. You can also get some Bomber gear. Shout out to the Booster Club. I believe Russ is here. Russ is over there, our Booster Club president. He'll probably come on with us at some point. But lots of cool stuff happening here. We're getting into the school year. We're getting people involved, kids involved. All the activities are starting up. So we're looking forward to that. So far, Bomber volleyball off to a hot start. Hoping we can continue it on. And we'll be there on the 7th. So if you can't be there at Pack the Gym, make sure you tune into the Ballard Network. Brock will be tuning in when he's in class. Sorry, he's in class. Anyway, okay.
I also think it's really cool that Brock was a Ballard student, and I think it's really awesome to see him start as a student in this program, and then, or kind of start the program, and then now he's like kind of adulting and doing this, and it's cool to see him come full circle for it.
He's the godfather of the Ballard Network. That's awesome. All right, Megan. Well, we'll see you around, and we'll see you
I
later.
didn't know I could do 2 truths and a lie.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
I didn't know about it. You clearly told everybody else, and then I had to quick make some.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah, I made some.
My bad. Okay. We're going to do 2 truths and a lie. Okay. Give it to us.
You let Danny introduce her husband too, but you didn't say.
Go ahead and introduce your husband.
The red ball guy over there. Okay. You can answer. All right. So, number 1, I fainted at least 100 times.
100 times. Do you know something?
Number 2, I got a speeding ticket on my 16th birthday driving home from the DOT. Number 3, I delivered my 2 children with no pain meds.
Okay. All right. The first one, I fainted at least 100 times. Raise your hand if you think that one is a lie. Okay? Got a speeding ticket on her 16th birthday driving home from the DOT. You think that's a lie? Brock has actually done that, he said. Okay. The last one, she delivered both of her children with no pain meds. She's one tough cookie.
That's a total lie. That's a total lie. Everyone knows that.
That is awesome. Awesome. Megan, thank you so much. We look forward to my next season. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be paying attention in class.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to have your earbud and be like, what are these two going to say? I'm kind of worried about it myself.
Hey, 8-1 on the year, only dropped 3 sets. That's very impressive.
Good volleyball, right? Good that.
I mean, I'm not just like you, not totally.
I plan on getting more knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable? Do you have the volleyball for dummies book?
I'm gonna get one probably. Just to help me. I know a lot of people that'll help me out. I've got some new coaches and I can. Yeah, got a whole week. We'll be prepped. We'll be prepped. Anyway, I mean,
Right, we kind of.
talked about it, like, it flew by.
It flew by.
Yeah, in the fly. I mean, we're basically, this is it. Our next episode, live show here, October 2nd. Correct? October 2nd, Monday night, same time, same place. Be looking on your social media. Anything you see. If you maybe got something for us that would help us to market it better, word of mouth. We'd like to get 50 people in here. It might be a little grand, but we'd sure love to have it.
Just throw it out there. If we hit 40 plus, I will show up in an Iowa Hawkeyes jersey.
Oh man, and Bucks, now you have to move out of the house, your mom is shaking her head. But if he's willing to do that, we get 40 people, that's his definition. We get 40 people, he will don a Hawkeye jersey, he is a diehard Iowa State.
I'll wear the best Iowa quarterback of all time, Spencer Petras.
Oh, shots fired. Anyway, we're still working
On our special guest.
these microphones, and maybe we'll see.
I think I talked to Matt. I think he's in, right?
RJ?
Special guest next week for next
RJ.
month. Yeah, you can go ahead and announce it if you want.
Okay, our special guest for next time will be RJ Sumrall. RJ is a former wide receiver at Iowa State. Matt sent us some information up here, Matt, I apologize. And to RJ, if you watch this, my man, I'm sorry. Wasn't more prepared. He's the current faith coach, I call him a chaplain, I don't know if you can say that for Iowa State football anymore. He's the head of FCA for Iowa, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So, again, it's for all ages. Obviously, it's pretty low key. We'll have some folks, but it sounds like RJ's in for next month. The guy's impressive. He's got a great message. He's a great dude. I was to Bible study with him, I think 8 or 10 years ago. I know he doesn't remember who I am.
No one will forget you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But I believe if you come in and you see him live and listen to him, you'll kind of want to go through a brick wall for him. He's that kind of a dude. He's a good guy. He's got the Iowa State connections. And then we're hoping we're going to get some of the activities, some of the coaches, if we can get head coaches or assistants, band director, dance coach, things like that. We'll try to get them on board. We'll talk with Mr. Deason and see if we can get that figured out. Same place, same time, October 2nd.
Yeah. I mean, we're playing on football Friday, and I mean, we're going to be streaming it. I sure hope you all show up to the game because, you know, we're home and we're going to need it. It's a very good, humble program. And if not, we'd love to see you tuning into our streams. Share the links to the streams. I'm pretty sure Flight will be showing the game if you're not unable to make it to the game for whatever reason. And I want to give thanks to Flight again for sponsoring us this year. Because again, nobody wants to pay for high school athletics, and being able to watch these games for free is such a special thing. So thank you again to Flight for sponsoring us.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks for coming to the very first episode of the Flight Lounge Show. Flight Lounge sponsored, brought to you by Flight Bar and Grill. We'll see you next time. We'll see you Friday night. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Nice job, dude. Killed it.